Okay.
Okay, we're gonna go through it once without.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Laura Cavley, and this is my great aunt, Sylvia. This is my aunt, Sylvia Laura Lennick, and I'm Elisabeth Laura, and she was born and raised in Germany. I'm going to be interviewing her on what happened to her during World War II. What age were you when the war started?
When the war started, I was just going on 9, because I'm born in August, and September 9th the war started.
What is your first memory of the war?
I think my first memory of the war really started before the war broke out, because my dad had always been drafted into the service one way or another, and in 1938 actually it started already. And he was gone a lot, and we children, of course, we knew that something unusual is going on. And then when the war broke out, that's when my father lost his place of business, because he'd been confiscated his cars and his trucks, so he was unable to work.
What is your most vivid memory of the war?
Actually, the most vivid memories of the war is the air raids, and who air raided us was the United States and the English people. And of course, a person would think that you have an animosity toward those people, but it's quite the opposite. I think they've done their job, and our soldiers over there done their job, which they at the time thought it was right.
Were there bombings where you lived?
Yes, quite a few. We lost our home to the bombings. As a matter of fact, we always had to go to the fallout shelters next door, because ours was a one-family home. And during the bombings, we had to go next door and be in the cell there, because there was a bomb shelter that was approved. And when we came out, we counted the brand bombs which were at our home, and there were 11 of them, just in our small home, 11 brand bombs, and of course we set the house on fire.
Where did you live during the war?
I lived at that time in Munich, which is the capital of Bavaria, and this is where Hitler got his start and his political career.
Where did you live? Who was the enemy during the war?
The major enemy at that time was not American, English, or Russia. It was the Jewish people, who we were told were our enemies. And it was the Jewish people who tried to take over the country. Although we were fighting, first of all, let me see, we went into Austria and Hungary, Poland, all the smaller provinces around Germany we were taking first.
What profession did your parents have?
My father owned the transportation company. It's not a transportation company. It's he picked up, he delivered fruit and vegetables to the stores throughout the city of Munich. That's what his job was.
Did anyone in your family fight in the war?
Yes, my oldest brother we lost during the war, and of course he was young when the war started out, but we did lost him on the end when we were all drafted. Even I had been drafted at the time when I was just barely 14. And of course, when I got drafted, it was toward the end of the war, and I never got to my destination because it was either bombed out here or air raids there, so we were just always in between cities where we were supposed to be going. And then also my dad got drafted through the railroad. He was not actually a soldier, but nevertheless he was sent out to Russia, and he never returned from there either.
Was it dangerous to go out from your house while the war was in progress?
No, not really, because we didn't have like in the cities or out in the country, we didn't have the crime at all like you have here. You would have to worry to go out, but we were not worried because we could freely move around till 1945 when the war was over. Then we were restricted to our areas, and that of course was, but there were a lot of um, people, had a lot of soldiers free yet. We tried to catch and so forth, but other than that, no, we did not have to be afraid of. When the air raids were announced, then of course we had to get off the streets, and no matter where you had been, you had to go to the next fallout shelter. And what I usually did, if I was in the middle of town and you were stopped by some people, you know, a fire department, I think you would call it over here, a sheriff, I said, oh, I just lived down the street, just a few more houses, and that's where I live. And I told it everybody till I was with my family. I didn't want it to be in anybody else's bunker without my family.
What foods did you eat during the war?
Very normal, actually, except that we had restriction as to what you could buy. We got food stamps, not in the sense like you have here, the food stamps that the welfare department gives out. Everybody had to have, we called it Lebensmittelkarte. You got a card once a month, and as a matter of fact, children your age had to distribute them in between the various areas, and you had to sign for them that you got it, and then you could buy so many pounds of flours or sausage or sugar or tea, bread, and lard or butter. It was all restricted. You probably got 100 grams of butter a month. Okay, and you probably got a quarter liter. It probably would amount to a cup of milk a week. You drink that in one meal, right? 2 cups maybe. So we were very restricted on groceries, and we ate a lot of dog bread, which is very famous in Germany, and I love it, and I miss it to this day. And we probably put either just salt and pepper on it, or if mother was really generous, then we put a little lard on it, and then put a little salt on it, and it was probably our lunch, or sometimes there was nothing on the bread, and we got an apple with it, if they had been available. And lucky for us, we had a small country home, and we had several apple trees in our garden, so we were fortunate there.
Did you have any special friends before the war?
Yes, I did have lots of friends. All my schoolmates, I went to school there, and neighborhood kids, and we entertained ourselves nicely. But being the war was on, there was so much uprooting done. As a matter of fact, we got evacuated from our home out into the country because of the bombing, and there had been 4 children in our family at home yet, and he could not live in the city, but we still were living most of the time in the city in our home and not out in this country. But my friends got scattered around, and there's only one friend I really have over there yet. I met her while I was living in the country, and we kept up our friendship over the years.
Did you leave them when the war started?
Yes, I know that I lost a couple of my friends during the war due to bombing. They got probably burned or got buried during the bombing in the fallout shelters.
Did you have any special days or nights with your family during the war?
Well, I tell you something, we didn't have television in those days. Okay, so we always spent a lot of time together with the family. And mother was most of the time at home. She, of course, helped my father in the business or worked to supplement us with groceries. In those days, he worked for groceries. He didn't work for money.
Did you go to school while the war was in progress?
Yes, although it was difficult at times because our schools were closed down too. They were either used as shelters for the homeless who lost their homes due to bombing, or the teachers just disappeared, or there was always one thing or another why the school was closed for a certain amount of time. And we got school probably, we divided it. So many classes had school in the morning and so many classes had school in the afternoon.
Why did you decide to come to America?
That really was not my decision to come to the United States. But my husband was stationed in Germany and we met and we fell in love, and so he decided that I'd come over here. And it was the best thing ever happened to me.
How old were you when you came to America?
I was 26 years old, so I was quite established in my German language, my German habits, and my German food, and I still miss it.
What city in Germany were you born in?
I was born in Munich, but I also lived for many years in Hamburg, and I went to Basel and Zurich, which is in Switzerland. I lived for a short while in Milan, which is Italy, so I've done quite a bit of traveling over there. But my main city was always Munich. That's where my family lives to this day.
When did you marry?
I married in 1956 in November in a small country church in Holland.
When you left, did you leave everything?
Yes. And it was quite hard to leave everything because, like I said, I lost my father in 1944. He didn't came back from Russia where he was stationed at the time. And my mother was alone, and she still had my younger sister at home and my younger brother. And it's just like if you would all of a sudden move away into a different country and you know that it will be a long time before you see your mom and dad again. And I knew that when I leave, it will be perhaps forever that I never get to see them again.
When you left, did your family go to see you go?
Yes, go at the airport, go say goodbye, lots of friends there. People who took my business over were there, and so it was quite a good ride.
Did you speak English when you were in Germany?
Very little or none. I mostly learned my language over here.
Does your family still live there?
Yes, my family is still all in Germany. I'm the only one out of my family that came over here. I have 3 sisters and 1 brother over there, and of course I have lots of cousins and nephews and nieces over there, and I have been in Germany since I'm here, which is almost 40 years, and I've been 3 times I have been back.
Were you a Christian when the war started?
No, I didn't realize or have never been taught what it means to be a Christian till I came to the United States. I was raised as a Catholic, and my feelings were always toward the church. As a matter of fact, when my mother always said when I grew up, when she had to look for me, she always found me in the churches. I loved them. I always wanted to be a nun.
What was religion like in Germany during the war?
None. There was no religion that was to speak of. We were free to go to churches and so on, but very few people took advantage of that because religion at that time was not important to anyone because everybody was so occupied with the war and was becoming of them once the war is over, and many people lost their husbands and their brothers or sisters or children, and so they were occupied with other things. So church was not one of the most important things that we contended with. And therefore Christianity was not taught like it is taught over here. That's all? Okay. I want to thank you very much for letting me come into your small world. And as we still say in Germany, when we see someone, if we have seen them just an hour ago or half an hour ago, we always greet everybody with Grüß Gott.
Are there any questions for her? Maybe some of you have some questions about some of the things that she's talking about, or maybe some questions that she didn't talk about.
Okay.
You said that you were in America for 40 years now?
Yes.
And you were 26 when you married or something?
Yes. You're doing the arithmetic, right? I know what he's getting at. He wants to know how old I am, right? No?
Smart
Just
gentleman.
Yes.
What was it like before the war started?
Before the war, it was quite normal. We had a normal life, except that we started out very young, seeing all the big parades with the big brown uniforms, and we had a lot of gatherings where we were required to go. Mother's Day was one of the days that was very, very important over there. And every woman in Germany that had 6 or more children got a mother's cross. And my mother, of course, got one too, because there were 6 of us. And I still have that picture at home with my dad's uniform, because he was in the SR, and he was a political leader. I would say he was sort of like a senator over there. And he had to wear the uniform very, very often, till 1938, I should say in 1939, when he found out what this war is all about. That's when he wanted to get out. That's when he wanted to get rid of the uniform. And that's when we got not really pursued in any way, but I'm sure that was the reason why we lost our business. And one of my uncles was working for the railroad, so he was lucky enough to get a job there. And he was with the railroad till he passed away. Yes.
How old were you when the war ended?
When the war ended, I was just barely 14. And I remember it as clearly as yesterday. We thought the Russians were coming in. It was, God bless them, the Americans. Yes?
Did you ever see Adolf Hitler?
Yes, I sure did. I personally gave him flowers. Of course, I was a little girl at the time, and you would be just as excited to do something like this if you were to meet your President of the United States now. And you're standing right next to him. It would be just awesome to you, right? And this is the same feeling I remember I had. I was just in awe. Okay, another question?
What kind of business did you have?
I was an artist, and I traveled for my modeling assignment, and then also I was on stage. I was a professional bicycle racer. Okay.
Is your husband still?
Oh yes, very much so, and I'm grateful for that. Yes.
Is there a big difference before the war started and when the war was going on? Was there a big difference in how you lived?
Yes, because the restrictions came about that you could not, all of a sudden you could not buy what you wanted. Not in clothing, not in food. You still could buy lots of toys, and that would be important for you in your age, right? But as far as food and clothing, no. You only got, maybe you got a certificate for one dress a year. But you also got certificates for a blanket or for beddings